Welcome to Ad Spend Secrets. My name is Luke Smith, and in this episode, we're going to be diving deep into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is something that's come up week after week with clients over the last couple of months, really. Every client call we jump on, we're trying to push clients to come up with their strategy, their discounts, and we're going to collaborate. We've been collaborating over the last few months. Now it's coming to crunch time. It's coming up at the end of November. If you've not thought about Black Friday sales yet, you need to get on that quick, because time is running out. You'll see brands start to advertise towards the end of October even. They're pushing earlier and earlier every single year that Black Friday sales happen for e-commerce brands. So in this episode, we're going to dive deep into what we're doing on Facebook specifically, on Google specifically from an advertising perspective, and how we're helping brands combine their email strategy with their ad strategy too, so they can lower their cost of acquisition and maximize revenue this sales period. So with our clients, typically we're running Meta ads and Google ads as the primary advertising channel. Now they'll do Klaviyo, either we'll run the Klaviyo for them, or they'll be setting up Klaviyo themselves, running flows and campaigns. So flows, you probably across Klaviyo, but they're the automated sequences that are set up once and improved over time, and campaigns go out on sale periods, for example, Black Friday. So the combination of both is crucial. And what I'm going to run you through is what we're speaking to clients about on the Meta side, on the Google side, and on the Klaviyo side, and exactly how they all tie together to make a cohesive sales strategy. So let's start on the Meta side. Meta is push marketing. We're going out there, we're building audiences. And I think what is key on the Meta side is to not just drop the sale on the day of the sale. It's an audience building platform. There is a long game to Meta advertising too. Obviously, everyone goes for ROAS and cash returns in the e-commerce game, and there's certainly a place for that. But there's also a place for building retargeting audiences, list generating through lead generation type formats on those as well in this episode, and social engagement. All of this kind of audience building activity helps maximize the returns when you actually drop the sales orientated advertising during the period of, for example, Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales over that 4-day period. So on the Meta side, we're typically leaning into broader audiences. As you may well know by now, Meta is heading into, letting the algorithm do its thing, feeding it as much data as possible, leaving the learning phase as quickly as possible. So at the account level in Meta, you'll see the percentage of your ads in learning phase. So our goal is to keep that at 30% or below in most cases, and just let the algorithm really get that room that it wants to move and find people likely to convert. So that's kind of the top line on the account level. And when we're talking campaign specific, one question that comes up a lot with clients is, what do I do with my always on ads? Ads that are promoting discount, a welcome email discount, for example, or ads that are just category or product specific. And our advice in that instance is to actually leave them running, because what we find a lot of the time is that the always on ads, the ones that aren't salesy, the ones that aren't specifically pushing 30% off this Black Friday limited time only in the creative, they can actually outperform the sales orientated ads. So we have a mixture of both. We typically leave the always on running. You can reduce the budget on it a little bit if you're concerned about budget, but I would recommend leaving those running and then rolling out specific Black Friday, Cyber Monday orientated advertising, where you're speaking to the sale, the discount, being very clear on how people can claim the discount, whether it's auto applied at checkout or if it's a code that they need to add at the checkout. And you can work that messaging into both the image, video, or on the other side, the messaging. And we would typically do all of the above. And we create what we call an all funnel campaign, where we're running Black Friday, Cyber Monday type creatives in one campaign. And then we've got our always on campaigns below that are just sort of ticking over. And we see an increase in ROAS as soon as that sale drops on both campaigns. So you would think that it would mostly come through, the sales would mostly come through the Black Friday, Cyber Monday messaging specific ads, but it actually comes through both campaigns. And as I was mentioning, in a lot of cases actually, and this is why we leave them on, the always on ads perform very, very well. And what we're looking to see is that return on ad spend increase. That's typically going to come from an increase in conversion rate on your website during that sales period. And one thing to note on Meta during Black Friday, Cyber Monday periods, and any big sales periods that a lot of advertisers are participating in, is CPM increases. So the cost of delivering those ads through these sales periods increases because advertisers are pouring money into the system. And so the landscape becomes a little bit competitive. And then the conversation that sort of stems from that in a lot of cases is, well, if it's getting really expensive, should I withdraw from marketing spend and advertising through this period on Meta? And our recommendation is no, because if you're investing in that period, you're playing the game, right? It's a big, big opportunity to generate sales and profitable sales still for your business. And even though the cost of delivery might increase, what you'll see is the conversion rate increase typically at a higher rate than what you would see for the delivery. The cost and delivery increases. So it works out to be a bit of a net win. You see that cost per acquisition come down as people are grabbing your sales and your discounts. And then the interesting thing that we also see, and intuitively, when you're running a sale like this and you're discounting, you might expect the average order value in your store to drop when you're running ads like this through Meta. But we typically see that actually increase. The average order value can actually climb up. And what's happening is people are adding more and more items to their basket. So you're getting a lower cost per acquisition. So you're acquiring a customer for less than you typically would outside of this sales kind of period. And they're adding more to the cart. So it ends up being, a positive experience for most brands, so long as you know your numbers, so long as you're not giving away a discount that, you can't afford when it's combined with all of the product costs and shipping costs, etc. So knowing your numbers is absolutely key, but I would not withdraw from a period like this. I would certainly engage and play in Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If you're an e-commerce brand and you're sort of on the fence still at the moment, I would definitely think about pulling that kind of activity together. Now, I touched on Meta. Obviously, we're talking about lead generation as one of the audience building initiatives, and this is where it kind of ties into Klaviyo. And Klaviyo is the email system we discussed earlier that a lot of brands, most brands, the clients that we work with, we recommend they get set up on Klaviyo as well. It's just a very robust email marketing platform that covers a lot of bases, integrates really nicely with a bunch of different advertising channels and Shopify as well. But what we recommend clients do is set up a lead generation ad, and it can be something, pretty soft. It doesn't have to be too salesy, but it can be something like get early access to our biggest sale of the year, which is coming up soon. And the lead form would ask for their name, their email, their phone number, and then you can actually push those leads directly into Klaviyo and create a list. And what you're doing there is you're building that email list, knowing that when the sale period drops in a couple of weeks, you're going to be sending those campaigns and it's going to hit those people. They've opted in, they've shown an interest, and typically it's a very low cost initiative to do something like this. We typically would see an email come in at about $1.50 or less, Australian dollars as well. So pretty low cost. And what I would recommend if you're going to use this strategy is to actually try and get the initial source in Klaviyo. It's a field called initial source, but when you're porting those into Klaviyo, you want to make sure you're marking it as Facebook lead form or something similar so that you can actually see post-sale if these leads that you've brought in through this process have actually bought. That's going to be key to working out if it was profitable for you with these specific leads and if you should spend more or less on this kind of lead generation next year, for example, or for the next sale, even if it's Christmas coming up just a month later. On the Google side, there's a few key things that we would run through with clients on Google, and that is campaign structures and when you should be increasing spend, what kind of time frame it might look like. And on Google, the campaign types that are performing the best at the moment for a lot of our clients are Performance Max and branded search. So branded search campaign, you absolutely want to have. I know a lot of clients will say, I'm ranking quite well organically. Why would I sort of need that to have this? But you can customize your messaging a lot quicker if you have your branded search ads in place on Google. You can't really chop and change the messaging from your SEO listings. That's one of the key benefits, is just to be really dynamic with the messaging and pushing that sales orientated messaging through ads. People that have heard about your brand are Googling your brand after maybe seeing it on Facebook. The second positive reason is that you just maintain a lot of that real estate. So you got an ad listing here for your brand name, it pushes down your organic listing, but they're both owned by you. So any other competitors trying to play in your space just get pushed further and further down, okay? So very important to secure that real estate. It's a very low cost initiative to do highest conversion rate kind of activity. Lock that down, then focus on shopping placements. That's the next placement on Google that is one of the highest intent behind branded search, obviously. So we try and get as many ads as we can in that shopping listing because it has the image, it has the price, and it has some details in the title that you can customize yourself as well. So people become more qualified before they click that ad. And you only actually pay per click, as we know on Google. So you're paying when someone clicks the ad. So if you can show them more information before they click, theoretically, you should be qualifying them a little further before they hit the website. Chance of conversion might be a bit higher there. It's also very, visual. And if people are in shopping mode, that's what they want to see. They want to see the color of your product. And they want to be able to see in the title, if you can get it in there, the size of the product, all that kind of information helps to make them feel like it's the right decision when they've seen your ad and before they've even clicked through to your website. Those are the campaign formats that we recommend. Performance Max, it actually runs across search, shopping, display, and YouTube, and we rely heavily on Performance Max. We talked about the time frame in which you might be increasing budget. Performance Max can be a bit slower to increase spend. So if you're running a short sales period like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you might want to start walking up that budget on Performance Max a few days early, just increasing it bit by bit each day, making sure that it's still spending its budget, making sure that the conversion value over cost, the ROAS, is still pretty stable as you're walking that budget up. Because if you go from here to here, as say on the Thursday before the sale, and on Friday you double, triple that spend, it's really going to push a lot of spend through to low quality placements because you've made that move too quick, and it's going to extend beyond your high intent placements such as shopping and search, and it might push into display or YouTube and just get that budget out, which is Google's job. If you've set a daily budget and you've increased it a lot, it might just hit low quality placements, at least in the short term. So it's going to be a lot of wastage if you use something like that. So if you need help with anything like this, you can always visit simplyconverting.com/call and we can have a look at your strategy. But I would certainly recommend walking that budget up slowly on Performance Max. If you've got that handled on Google and you've got your custom creative on Facebook combined with your always on sort of creatives, you're leaving them both running, and you've got your audience sorted on Facebook as well, you're building that audience through lead generation campaigns, and you're making sure your pixel is tracking your website visitors. It should be doing that anyway if you've got ads up and established, but just making sure that everything's firing off okay and that your engagement audiences for Instagram and Facebook are building on Facebook as well. These are kind of the base foundational activities that you want to be doing before you start increasing spend and dumping a lot of spend into that sales period. So that's the platform specific activity on Facebook and Google. We've touched on Klaviyo a little bit and how you can get those leads into Klaviyo, and you can mark them so you know where they've come from. In terms of timing, the strategy that we talk to a lot of clients about is the VIP offer, which is what people would be opting in on Facebook for. They're joining your email list to get that VIP access, that early access. So rewarding your email list with the sale a day or two before it goes public can be really beneficial in a couple of ways. It gets you early sales. It actually supports your customer base and your email list. It does reward them for being on there, because if you've got limited stock, then they get first dibs and they get the discount as well. There's less risk of obviously stock running low for your prime customers. So it really is that VIP experience, and you will see a spike in orders as soon as you drop that email if you've started to build up anticipation in the messaging for that kind of sale. Then once the Friday actually hits, that's when it goes public. You've got all of your Facebook and your Google ads going live that day with the messaging for the sale. Make sure that your website has the sale really clearly at either in the banner right at the top or on the homepage, or a combination of both, so it's absolutely clear that there is a sale happening, and your conversion rate should increase just because of that, sale presence on your website, congruent with the sale messaging that are in your ads that you've got turned on that day. One thing that we find helpful on the Google side as well, which we maybe glossed over earlier, is called promotion extensions. On the Google side, promotions within Google Merchant Center can be really helpful, and that can make it really clear in the shopping listings. It actually has a blue hyperlink that it might be 20% off. So it's actually something that's pushed into the feed or set up within Google Merchant Center that allows Google will first confirm that checkout, that 20% or whatever percentage you're using, is present at the checkout step on your website. It will actually automatically scan your website, check that, if you're setting up a promotion in Google Merchant Center for 20%, that it is actually happening on the checkout page. And once it checks that it is happening on both sides, it will approve it. It'll go live into the ad, and it has that blue hyperlink that says 20% off. And it just stands out compared to all of the other shopping listings when you see them all lined up in a row. So competitively, it can be quite good to have that visually added through these sales periods. And when somebody clicks, it will show them the coupon. A little pop-up window will say, here's your coupon code, go to the website and you can check out. So that's one way you can do it. The other way you can make it visually appealing that you've got a sale through Google is by having prices just blanket marked down on your website, no coupon code required. That's actually quite a low friction way to do it. And what you'll see in those Google shopping ads at the top is you'll see the original price at the top, and then you'll see it slashed out, and you'll see the sale price. So in that instance, what you actually need for that to happen is two attributes in the shopping feed to be fed into Google, so that Google can see what your original price was and what your sale price was. That's how it knows that it's going to show one slashed out, and then it's going to show the sale price below. So when it sees those two prices, that is another way of making it really, really visually appealing as a shopping ad coming through Google. And competitively, that's a great way to increase your click-through rate and your conversions as well. So absolutely looking at one of those two options, if not both, if it's possible to do both on the Google side, that's probably going to be one of your highest leverage activities if you're increasing spend on shopping placements, be it the Performance Max or the standard shopping campaigns. Timing. We haven't really discussed timing as a whole, but we've spoken about Google, we've spoken about Facebook, we've spoken about Klaviyo, and a bit of that strategy there. On our calls with clients, they're often asking, or they're stating, I suppose, we're seeing competitors, starting to roll out messaging now, being late October. We're seeing competitors last year running ads for 2, 3, 4 weeks prior to the actual Black Friday period, which is crazy. It's becoming earlier and earlier every year. It's probably going to be August next year at this rate. And so what we've done, the example that I give is we had a client, we're still working with them. We've been with them for about 3 years now. And in 2022, they did just Friday to Monday, Black Friday through to Cyber Monday. And last year in 2023, we thought, okay, well, let's run it for a little bit longer and see how it goes. And we ended up extending it from 4 days to, I think it was 7 or 8 days. And what we see is we still see a big spike on day one of the sale and the last day of the sale being that Monday. So the end date is typically the same. What we're doing is bringing that start date forward. You're still going to see a spike on the first day and the last day, and that's going to be heavily impacted by the emails you're sending. Sale on now. On that first day, you're dropping a couple of emails to let people know. And on the last day, you're dropping a couple of emails to let people know that it's ending today, and then another one potentially later on saying, hey, final hours, get in while you can. And so that's where you see a bit of a spike, but it's also because ads going live that day, people are in your warm audiences and they're taking you up on that offer. But when we extended from 4 days to 7, we actually saw the revenue and the returns on the ad spend were pretty similar, but we actually lengthened out the amount of times we were getting, the amount of days over which we were getting those returns. So it was a positive change to go from 4 days to 7 days. So now we're looking at clients and saying, okay, well, I think we should do between 7 and 10 days, whether that first 3 days is lead generation, ramping that up and really starting to seed the sale. And then from the last 7 days, we're actually pushing the sales. So you get the VIP access, and then it goes public a day or two after that. So just lengthening that sales period, I think, has been really helpful for a few of our clients over the last year. And again, it's going to depend on your margins, your stock levels, and whether or not you've got the capacity to run that kind of sale over a longer period of time. So it all does come back to your break-even numbers, to be honest, so long as you know what you can spend on ads and what you're giving away as discounts, and how much you can push into that promotional period over that 4, 7, 10 days. And if you need help looking at your numbers again, you can reach out to us at simplyconverting.com/call, and we'd be happy to do an audit and have a look at what your numbers look like and whether or not they might be scalable at this point. So to wrap up this episode, I know it's been a bit of a lengthy one. We want to make sure that we're getting the timing right, look at what you've done last year and potentially extend by another few days. In our experience, like I was saying, with the most recent Black Friday sale was very positive to run instead of 4 days, over 7 days with a client. They generated more revenue with the same kind of ROAS and the same kind of MER. It was a real net win for them. So that's something I would look into. Dial in your Black Friday specific creatives, whether it be images and videos, and we can deep dive into creatives on another episode. On Google, you want to make sure that you're very clearly identifying the sales through your shopping ads. Shopping ads are going to be key for any e-commerce business running sales, and Performance Max is the way to go at the moment. So make sure you've either got those promotions set up in Merchant Center or the slash prices. Make sure they're coming through in those attributes nicely and they're displaying on your shopping ads in the way that makes them really stay out and show that it's an absolute discount and a sale through that period. And then lead generation and audience building, make sure you're relying on getting people fed into your Klaviyo account, building up, feeding juice into those those engaged audiences on Facebook, so that when the sale hits, you're going to drop that email, you're going to launch those ads, and you've built up those audiences. These people have already been indoctrinated in a few different ways into your brand, and they're more likely to purchase at that point when they start seeing your sales orientated ads. If you've got any questions or you need any help this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, just reach out to us at simplyconverting.com/call, and I'd be happy to jump on a call and chat through your strategy and see if there's any way we can help you. Don't wait on it though, because it is getting pretty close, and a lot of our clients have almost finalized their setups 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance.